Hey gardeners, it is July 5th, 2024. We survived the night. Neighbors, of course, were obnoxious, putting out aerial fireworks, but everything was fine in the yard, wet everything down. Today I'm going to continue with the series on what's ripening, where I bring to you fruit trees that are ripening in my backyard garden out here in the Phoenix, Arizona area, 9B. So if you're in a similar climate, these trees should work for you as well. And if you're not familiar with the Phoenix climate, we get as hot as 120 degrees Fahrenheit in summertime. Right now we are consistently above 110 degrees, so quite hot. And in the winter we do get lows, at least in my area, down to an extreme of mid-20s, but we don't get a whole lot of chill hours generally on any given year. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Anna apple. For the most part, apples don't work in our climate because they do require high chill hours. Something like 800 hours and beyond is where most apple varieties fall. The Anna apple is a cultivar that is the exception. Even in those years where we get very low chill hours, in the neighborhood of 150, Anna bears consistently and productively. The fruit gets to be a decent size, as you can see. It is a crisp apple that's mildly sweet. What I like about it is it doesn't get mealy like the Golden Dorset does. I love this apple for eating just fresh out of hand, and it also is excellent for baking with. So this tree is actually in a more harsh microclimate. This gets a lot of sun. That wall there is my south wall. So it gets full sun pretty much all day, and then this part of the tree does face the west. So the sun comes down across the sky this way and really does blast the tree. But you can see there's really no burn to the leaves. And you will notice that I don't skirt this tree. It's more in a bush format, and I do that strategically so that I don't scald the bark on the inside of the trunk. That prevents me from having to whitewash or do anything like that to protect the trunk. And it also keeps it a little bit more humid inside the tree and protects the fruit. So that's just the way that I like to prune up this tree. So if you live in a hot 9B climate where you don't get many chill hours, this is a wonderful apple variety and probably the best there is out there. I have tried Golden Dorset, Fuji, and some other types, and they just don't produce like this one does. Okay, behind me is one of my fig trees. I'm growing about 40 different varieties in my yard. Weather is different every year. In general, I see main crop figs, so those that fruit on the new season's growth. I typically see that come in mid-June. But in general, fig trees will produce for you both in June and then not only just in July, but through the year, actually up till December, you can get ripe figs. So a wonderful tree to add to your yard. Brown Turkey and Black Mission are the ones that you're likely going to find at a nursery, and those are actually the ones I started with. I no longer have those varieties because as you delve into figs, you'll find that there are so many different types and flavor profiles out there, and definitely better alternatives to the very highly available types that the nurseries put out and propagate. They put those out because they're easier to root, easier to come by on the wood, and so that's what they push. So this tree happens to be my Texas everbearing in the ground, but I have multi-grafted the tree with all sorts of different varieties. So here's a Genovese Nero AF. Got Figo Preto here. And as you can plainly see with me walking by this fig tree is that it is covered in figs. So don't ever let someone tell you that there's a productive variety that's better than others. They're all productive once they've been in the ground for a few years. So it's really just finding the variety that appeals to your taste. And if you want to have fruit, 6 months out of the year, then typically want to get more than one variety so you can extend that harvest window. So as far as varieties ripening up right this moment, we've got the red Lebanese Bekaa Valley. And we can see some fruit right here. That's a Mount Etna variety. Mount Etnas are a really good one to go with. My Chicago Hardy and my Black Marseilles VS are also ripening figs right now. Coming down here, we've got Smith that is ripening. Hâtive to Argentile. Even my Bass's favorite is starting to ripen up. Okay, another one that is ripening here on my tree is the Black Madeira UCD. Just the first couple have come out and ripened, but you can see just hundreds on the tree as well. Like I've mentioned in other videos, a late ripening fig doesn't mean much here in the Phoenix, Arizona area because we are so hot. Every common fig variety that I'm growing ripens its first main crop in July. It's that second main crop that we get in fall that may be a little bit later on the later varieties because they need extra heat. All right, Nixon Peace. You can see here, starting to ripen, great honey fig. Pastilliere is another one that's ripening up right now. Adriano. This is my Marseilles Black VS. Again, covered in figs and starting to ripen up here. And even the Panache Tiger are starting to swell up and ripen. So there are very few fig varieties that are actually not ripening at this point. Martinique Ramada is one of them. Hope you enjoyed this video, learned what we can ripen up here in the high heat of July. And one tip is if you want your fruit to actually have some moisture in it, then you need to give the tree moisture during this high heat time. I'm getting excellent ripened figs because I'm watering my fig trees every day in this heat.